I'm Allie Cole, and today I'll be speaking with Gary Edwards, who is the president of ERS Antenna. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you, Allie?
I'm doing well. So I feel like the topic we're going over today will really resonate with a lot of people because it's the idea that you have control how you're perceived through the hiring process and how the steps that you take can really affect you getting a good job that works versus a job that really suits your strong suits and you can really excel in. Gary, can you please walk us through what people can do?
Sure, Allie. I think in this segment, let's talk about how the 10 minutes that you spend will help you prove your value to a potential employer. And whether that's handing your resume directly to the hiring manager, to human resources, or whether you're posting it through an internet site or job board. So think about it like this. You've spent your entire career keeping your resume polished whenever it's needed, right? And this likely equates to several weeks of your life over the course of your career. So you're educated, you're personable, and you're good at what you're trained to do. Yet employers, recruiters, and or hiring managers will spend only 2 minutes determining if you're right for their job or not. Why only 2 minutes? I'm a good electrical engineer. My resume proves that, or does it? Next, let's see how in 10-minute time frame you can ensure that you make the cut with any hiring authority. And to do this, you need to put yourself in the shoes of a potential employer or human resources manager or a recruiter and realize that none of them know your skill set like you do. Therefore, don't ever assume that just because you think your career can be summed up or clear to everyone on your resume based on 2 pages of your resume, think again, because this just isn't the case. Your career, its technical duties, and the industry that you work in needs to be clear to anyone who reads your resume. In other words, just assume that anyone reading your resume has absolutely no technical understanding of what you do or your industry. So clarify 3 points for your audience. 1, your specific skills need to shine well in your resume. 2, your specific duties. And 3, the industries that you've worked in or wish to work in. These are all very important in targeting whatever audience you wish to target when sharing your resume. So number 1, we talked about your specific skills. Well, be clear in your resume about your overall skills, your education, and the most well-recognized items that you've worked on within your career. And this means technology. This will help to appeal to a broad audience. So if you're, for example, an RF microwave engineer, you might say on your resume, with 15 years of RF experience, I've designed, tested, simulated, and integrated RF microwave components for radar, electronic warfare, automotive, and telecommunication applications to include antennas, receivers, amplifiers, integrated circuitry, exciters, and other passive and active components. So what you've done here is you listed many specific skills. You didn't put a bunch of acronyms in there that half people that read your resume won't understand. You made it crystal clear. Here are some of the skills and the strengths that I have and that I want you to see and consider me for. The second point was list even more of your specific duties. So here you want to be thorough about explaining your background so that your duties are clearly understood to any audience and that you don't understand your skills by speaking in generic, or you don't want other people to try to guess your skills based on generic terms or with too many acronyms that many non-technical people just won't understand. So don't get me wrong, the acronyms can be useful in the engineering world since there are so many of them, and they're useful to your technical audience, but couple them with content made for a non-technical group as well. So for example, since they already know you're an RF engineer who designs radar systems within the defense industry, don't just assume that by stating you are an RF engineer with, let's just say, ABC Defense Company, that this tells the whole story or that anyone will still understand it. Clarify your duties by stating you're an RF hardware designer who designs, tests, and integrates antennas for collision avoidance radar systems, or whatever your technical skills are. This is just one example. And this statement not only states your job title, but helps paint a clear picture of what you design. And then lastly, the third point was list the industries that you've worked in or could transition into. This is extremely valuable. Be sure to include on your resume what each of your employers do, what products they build, and if those products are installed or integrated into an end product or a secondary product, like an airplane or an automobile or a cell phone, then clearly state this. Don't assume that anyone knows what your employer does just by their company name. If they aren't named Apple or Microsoft or big giant companies that anyone worldwide would recognize, then you have to clearly clarify this. Therefore, in your chronological work history for each and every job that you've had, talk about your employer's products. So for example, if you work for ABC Company, and that's who you work for, clearly state that that ABC Company designs and manufactures antennas and RF components for automotive keyless remote entry systems, automotive lane departure systems, and automotive collision avoidance radar systems. And again, remember, this is just one example, but what you're doing in this context, you've made it crystal clear that in this specific job, ABC Company, you works on automotive applications. You have worked in the automotive sector. And then it's clear to anyone looking for these skills within the automotive industry and with that particular job that you work in automotive and you could be the right person for the job if that's the specific skill they're looking for. So remember, this is just one example, and this will work within any industry. So if you're not an engineer or you're not an RF expert or you don't work in automotive, that's okay. Utilize these tips for any industry that you might work in. So with that, using these tips should greatly increase your chances of being discovered, interviewed, and ultimately hired. So good luck.
As always, that was so informative, and I feel like a lot of people could use that in their line of work. So it was just really simple steps that you can take to really put yourself ahead of everyone else. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Allie. Have a great day.
You too.